Hey guys, real quick video here. I'm working and I gotta put my residents down for bed here in a little bit. But I just wanted to come on and share a few things here. You guys, this morning it was so cute. I was babysitting my grandson and I was feeding him breakfast, and we were sitting up at the bar area, and I had him sitting on the counter and I was just feeding him and just loving on him, and I said, "You don't even know how much your grandma loves you." And then just a second later, I said, "And you know who else loves you?" And I said, "Jesus." And he got a smile on his face and he looked up at me and he said, "Let's go." And you guys, my grandson's 22 months old. He says like mom, dad. And that's about the extent. He says a few little words that you just can't understand. But for him just to say, "Let's go." And I do read him, his little Bible, and I show him pictures of Jesus and talk about Jesus. But I was not expecting that whatsoever. It was just like, "And you know who else loves you? Jesus." And he's like, "Let's go." So you guys, that was just so cute. You just had to be there. And then this afternoon when I laid down for a nap, I had a really quick dream. One of my family members' girlfriends were over. And I felt like I had to tell her about the rapture and Jesus coming. And I said, "Why don't we go out to the camper?" And so we went out there and I started talking to her about Jesus. And all of a sudden a tornado came and picked up the camper. And the next thing I know is we're up in the sky. And I'm looking around and we're holding on to just a piece of metal at that point from the camper. And we're in the eye of the storm and we're swirling around and around. And at that time in my dream, I didn't know if we were being raptured at the time or we were just in a tornado. And I said, either way, it was either we were going in the rapture or we were going to die. And she needed to get right with Jesus. So with urgency, I was like, you have to say the sinner's prayer after me. And so I started saying the sinner's prayer, and I happened to look up and she was gone. And the next thing I know, this tornado is bringing me back down to the ground. And it was gently, it was very gently. I felt at peace, and I got to the ground and I ran over this hill and I ran into this building, and I didn't know what I was running into at first. But there was a lot of people there ready for a wedding. And I sat down by this little girl, and I was talking to this little girl. She must have been about 3 years old. And this lady comes running up to me and she goes, "All you got to do is get your shoes on." And I looked down at the ground and there was a crystal clear, like Cinderella shoe, a pair of shoes sitting there. And I put my foot in there and I looked up. And you know how they keep the doors closed right before the bride walks down the aisle? As soon as I looked up, the two gentlemen opened the door. And then that was the end of my dream. So you guys, I just wanted to come on and share this. And then also, you guys, this video will blow you away. It's only 2 minutes long, and you might have already watched it. It's Mark Biltz from El Shaddai channel, and I'll leave the link in the description box below for you guys if you want to watch the full video. But I'm just going to play the last part of it, and it's only 2 minutes long, but you guys, it'll blow your mind. So just watch it till the very end. Take care and God bless.
Now, what are the odds of having both events occurring in the same week, where you have a total, not a partial, a total solar eclipse crossing the entire United States at the beginning of the lull, and a Category 4 hurricane hitting the U.S. and Texas in the same week? What are those odds now? Because that sure didn't happen 100 years ago. Does that increase the odds a little bit, having a hurricane and a total solar eclipse in the United States? Look at this. In Luke 21:25, where it talks about being signs in the sun, moon, and stars, it also says there will be the roaring of the sea and the waves in the same verse. So what are the odds, not only that you have those things, what are the odds there would be a Bible verse explaining the end of days? We would see signs in the sun in the same verse talking about the sea and the waves roaring. What do you think the odds are of that?
Here it comes.
Now, do you want to see something really astronomical? Luke 21:25 is one of my favorite verses because Genesis 1:14, God says there will be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. And Luke 21:25, Jesus confirms there will be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. So what are the odds of having both the total solar eclipse and a hurricane the same week? Well, what are the odds that it would happen on the 21st and the 25th? The solar eclipse happens on the 21st. The hurricane happens on the 25th. Now, coincidental? I mean, God is pointing us to this verse saying we are living in these times.